Hello, I'm Brent Gardner, and this is the NRA-ILA Grassroots News Minute for Friday, June 12th. Here with today's first story is correspondent Susan Chrisman.
Thanks, Brent. Today we begin with an alert on important federal legislation. The Veterans Heritage Firearms Act of 2009, introduced by U.S. Representative Dennis Rehberg, would provide a 90-day amnesty period so veterans and their family members could register firearms acquired overseas between June 1934 and October 1968 without the fear of prosecution. While Congress granted limited amnesty in 1968, most veterans weren't given enough notice to participate. This bill would not apply to all firearms brought home by veterans. The only firearms that have to be registered at the federal level are those subject to the National Firearm Act. More common trophies, such as bolt-action rifles or semi-automatic pistols, don't need to be registered. This means that H.R. 442's proposed amnesty would only apply to machine guns and other NFA firearms. Under this bill, the Attorney General would create and distribute clear printed notices providing information regarding the amnesty period and requirements for registering a firearm. Recognizing that veterans' trophies represent an important part of the nation's history, H.R. 442 would require the Attorney General to transfer each firearm that has been forfeited to the United States to the first qualified museum that submits a request. The Attorney General would be prohibited from destroying any forfeited firearm until the end of a 5-year period beginning at the date of forfeiture. Finally, H.R. 442 would amend federal law relating to machine guns. It would allow transfer and possession by a museum that is open to the public and is a nonprofit under applicable state law. Current law allows transfer of machine guns to government museums, but many of America's finest collections of historic firearms are in privately run museums. So please be sure to contact your lawmakers in support of H.R. 442. Now back to you, Brent.
Thanks, Susan. Last week, NRA filed a petition for certiorari to the U.S. Supreme Court in the case of NRA versus Chicago. The NRA strongly disagrees with the decision issued by a 3-judge panel of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit, holding that the Second Amendment does not apply to state and local governments. The 7th Circuit got it wrong. As the Supreme Court said in last year's landmark Heller decision, the Second Amendment is an individual right that belongs to all Americans. Therefore, we are taking our case to the highest court in the land, said NRA-ILA Executive Director Chris W. Cox. This 7th Circuit opinion upholds current bans on the possession of handguns in Chicago and Oak Park, Illinois. It is wrong that the residents of Chicago and Oak Park continue to have their Second Amendment rights denied, Cox concluded. It's time for the fundamental right of self-defense to be respected by every jurisdiction throughout our country. For more updates on this important case and other legislative alerts, please visit our website at www.nraila.org.